Howdy folks, hope you're all well, hope the weather's treating you as well as it is down here in the sunny southwest. It's been boiling, I've been sweating the proverbials off, and now I'm sipping a cider talking to you guys back where it's all about. Excuse me. Nice little bit of Henry Westons, can't go down wrong, although drinking and flying, yeah, maybe the CAA might have something to say about that, who knows. We are going to be on vatsim today. We are going to be flying from Exeter down to St Mellion. I didn't want to go to Bodmin, however when I was planning to do this yesterday there was a massive airspace restriction because of G7 and I was trying to be realistic, so I planned for St Mellion. And St Mellion's a bit more of a challenge. There's no real posted charts and you will see why in just a moment when I show you the Google Chrome picture. I've moved away from Navigraph and gone to SkyDemon. And I haven't regretted it. SkyDemon is amazing. So obviously a real-world flight planning software. It does integrate into flight simulators. You can see use X-Plane. It does work with MSFS 2020, Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're flying out of my home city of Exeter over Exmouth. So we'll be parting runway 26 out of Exeter today. There's a few clouds at 400 and a few clouds at 4,000. So nothing too dramatic. We should be fine at 2,000 feet. Over Exmouth, avoiding the balloon area and the training area over Woodbury Common. As you see, Woodbury Common. Oh, look at that! It even says it. I did get it right. Teignmouth, Torque Bay and Torquay, over Berryhead and Brixham, down over Dartmouth. We're starting to get into the more wealthy parts of Devon now. Salcombe, which is incredibly expensive to live, obscenely expensive. Yelmpton, Plymouth Airfield, the old Plymouth Airport, international airport supposedly, or was. And then we're hopefully going to enter the downwind for St Mellion. And it's probably going to be drawing with Pensilva there. This is at 2,000 feet, so it's going to be higher. So we'll come down to 1,000 feet and then join on like a, I guess like a right-hand downwind. That wouldn't work. It's going to be something like that. Something like that will be the kind of circuit, although we'll be drawing probably past almost sort of the salt ash, but we'll try and kind of sort of catch the top of the estuary in sight, then draw in. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge to spot, as I said. This is runway 33, which the winds are favouring at the moment. The only landmark we've got is the little two sheds at the end and this big solar field. However, there are some solar fields up here as well. This is this village or town of Callington, so we need to make sure we've got our bearings, otherwise we'll end up landing in a farmer's field as opposed to the designated airstrip. And we've just got the golf course there, so it shouldn't be too bad. So we'll look to catch the top of the estuary, which will be towards Salt Ash. There's the aerodrome. So yeah, as soon as we sort of catch sight at the top of the estuary, we'll turn back in. Okay, looks slightly different on here. This looks a bit more, yeah, so as soon as we catch sort of St Germans direction, we'll turn back in for runway 33. We'll be at 1,000 feet, so we'll descend nicely, and the landing strip for 33 is uphill, so we should descend quite naturally. Salcombe's a no-fly zone. I'm still going over Salcombe Bolt-head. I'll explain why this is a noise-sensitive area on the way down, and we're going to be talking about a little bit about the history of each place and just doing a little bit. I like to learn stuff. I've been reading up, as well as the local knowledge that I've got. Lots of folklore and different bits of stories down that way. So we will sing a song as we go, as they say. I'll see you in the sim once we are taxi and ready for takeoff, because I'll go ahead and get all the garbage done beforehand with the ATIS and stuff. Alright guys, see you in the sim. Okay, so we're back in the sim, we're fully configured. We're going to taxi out to runway 26 in just a second, and we're going to take off from Gulf, which is just the end of this runway with flaps 1. So we've got enough room there. So we'll go ahead and call up on Unicom, as there is no ATC down this way. Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, Exeter traffic, taxiway Golf runway 26 departure. We are in the lovely SR22, the Cirrus SR22, registered with MAV. Lovely colours, the liveries installed with the livery pack manager, again available on FSTO, as well as a lot of the freeware scenery I've got, which includes sort of paint and pier and that kind of stuff, which we'll talk about as we go through. Okay, runway 26 coming up. Clear on the left. Ready to go. Have a quick sip of oops, a little bit soon there. Get the track R on. Quick sip of cider. Right. Extra traffic, Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, lining up runway 26, departing south at 2000. Okay, we are flaps good, landing lights will go on, and we are good to roll. 50% and 100, so we're looking for 70 knots, and we will stop clock. And there's 60 knots. Jumping around a little bit, and we can rotate. Track R's jumping around a little bit with the UV light, I believe. Okay. Get rid of lights. Set the transponder, and we'll get eyes on the accessory as we come on up here. Reduce the throttle and the RPMs back to 60% and then 55 for the cruise. And we'll start our left turn now towards Exmouth. A little bit low power. Traffic Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, clear of runway 26, now climbing through 1000 direct Exmouth. Okay, let's trim up. Continue the climb up, bleed some of that speed off. And we've now exited the air traffic zone for Exeter, EGHC. And we'll leave the control zone over Exmouth. So Exmouth is supposedly the 5th most populated place in Devon, Cornwall, or in Devon. Sir Walter Raleigh supposedly left on his maiden voyage in the 1500s from Exmouth. I think it's the 1500, or he was born in the 1500s, so yeah, he was left for many of his voyages from Exmouth Harbour. It's obviously got a good rugby club half decent football club as well, I think. It's home to the Royal Marines training set. Well, not really. It's actually not home to the Royal Marines. Livingston's home to the Royal Marines training centre. It's the nearest large town, and it's down there on the coastline. CTC Livingston, some of the most arduous infantry training in the world. I've not done it myself, so I can't vouch for that, I'm afraid. Yeah, I know a few people that have, say it's pretty difficult. Exmouth Beach, you're coming up on the left-hand side, and then you've got Dawlish Warren down off the right-hand side there. Exmouth obviously forms the west end of the Jurassic coast, which goes all the way up to Lyme Regis. So it goes up, next one is Budley Salterton, which is up there somewhere, and then Sidmouth, Beer, Branscombe, Seaton, and then Lyme Regis. Okay, let's level off. There's Exmouth Beach down there. There's quite a large car park at the end, which is demonstrated there, but looks which is pretty good. And then you've got the red cliffs on the end and some caravan parks climbing up into trim out. Dawlish Warren down now off the right-hand side. Dawlish Warren, all the way along there. And Dawlish is famous for black swans. It's famous for its ice cream as well. It's got a place called Gay's Creamery. Now, if you're ever in Dawlish on holiday or passing through, be sure to stop in Gay's Creamery. Now, it's in the High Street where the black swans are on the left-hand side. It's it's literally gloss red, painted gloss red. Can't miss it. It is. They put ice cream with Devon clotted cream. And honestly, it is some of the most amazing ice cream I've ever had. I took Mrs. there when we first went together. She loved it. Absolutely loved it. Please don't let your dogs attack black swans either. Some idiots decided that would be a good idea to let their dogs play with the black swans. They nearly wiped them out at one stage, I believe, through dog attacks and various other different things. Coming up on the right then, you've got the Tean River with Teignmouth, spelt. During the 17th century, it was sort of a bit of a strategic point for the Channel ports. It was constantly getting raided by people from, it's called the Dunkirkers and Flemish, and it was used as a smuggling town, which I'm sure it probably still is. If anyone saw that documentary done by Devon and Cornwall Police recently, this year, I think it was, maybe last year, they were saying a lot of drugs get in through the little ports and stuff. It probably still is a smuggling town even after all this time. And in the July of 1690, there was a French admiral called Anne Hilarion du something or other, and he defeated the Anglo-Dutch fleet at the Battle of Beachy Head, and the French fleet was anchored in Torbay, and some of the galley fleet travelled a short distance up the coast and attacked Teignmouth. There was a petition to the Lord Lieutenant from the inhabitants that basically said, we've been invaded by the French, help. Yeah, I think the French got one over on us there, unfortunately. It was a bit of a strategic point for the tin mining industry and granite and stuff like that, which came off of Dartmouth, which is just over there, during that time as well. So quite a lot was going on. This was the place to be in anywhere between the 13th and 17th century. Still see the remains of different forts and things as you go along the coast. You've got there's a fort down in Dartmouth and also one in Salcombe as well, the ruins of Fort Charles. So this is the Torbay. That's Paynton over there. This is Torquay. Torquay town centre's down here somewhere. All the nightclubs and stuff. I used to stay in the Palace Hotel many years ago with my grandparents. It's just going to be a block of flats now, accommodation. I think the Chinese company bought it. It's a lovely place, Torquay, in the summer. It's got its problems, like most seaside holiday towns, Blackpool and the like, it's got its problems as well. Torquay sadly gets a bit of a bad rep for drugs and things like that. It's a lovely place. Good night out in Torquay. Water's quite nice to swim in, much better than the Bristol estuary, Bristol Channel, Burnham, places the western that. It's more muddy brambles, lovely clear blue water down here. Paynton Pier off to your right hand side, and coming up on Brixham very shortly. So Paynton Pier down there, that's somebody very kindly created that. The piers in this game seem to be missing, they're not procedurally generated or scenery. So Western Supermare Pier, as you would have seen in the Bristol VFR video, was missing. Someone's created one of those now, so I've added that. You can get those FSTO, just type in, if you're missing a pier, like Bournemouth Pier's missing as well, you can get those on Google, just type in MSFS 2020, and then whichever pier you're looking for, and it will be there most of the time. So we're coming up now on Bury Head, which is obviously a strategic aeronautical point. I'll call out because we've got traffic ahead. How well traffic, Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, now overhead Bury Head at 2000, routing direct Dartmouth. So Bury Head down there, it's a little lighthouse, was built in 1906 I believe, 1904 I think. It was obviously manned. It's not a livable lighthouse, so there was a little house that was added on next to the lighthouse keeper, and it was basically used and manually fired through through man-made resources, essentially, either gas, whether that might be gas or fire or wood, sort of fired as a beacon than anything. And then in 1924 it was converted to acetylene, which burns quite bright, and so that's Brixham Harbour down there. And then it was not until 1994 it was actually fully automated with electric, and then it was converted to LED in 2019. Brixham, well, there's lots of things in Brixham. It's obviously tourism's the main industry around here now. Still fishing from Brixham is where you get your Devon crabs from, and that's not the type of crabs you catch from Union Street, Plymouth either. That is the Devon red crab, brown crab rather, that you buy in supermarkets. There's a place called the Coffin House. This is a bit of folklore for you. So the Coffin House in Brixham was essentially built by a chap who wanted to marry a young lady. Now there's no yearbook on this, but it's a piece of folklore, and basically the story goes that this chap wanted to marry this young lady, and the father said, I will see her in a coffin before I see her wed. So the young man said, I'll grant your wishes, don't you worry. And he sent him away, and he proposed to the female in the coffin house, and the father gave the blessing because he was so stunned. This is Dartmouth coming up now on the right hand side, and you can see the fort, which is at the head of the estuary down there, which is where I was just pointing. Dartmouth's obviously got a huge Royal Navy history. It was home to the U-Force, which was 66 vessels in 1944. That were stationed down in Dartmouth and Salcombe actually, that were involved in the raids on D-Day landings on Utah Beach, etc. It's home to the British Navy Officer Training College, Britannia Royal Navy College. Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, passing Dartmouth at 2000, routing direct Salcombe Bolt-head. Blackpool Sands Beach will be up on the right hand side in just a second. We'll get some position quick. There's a hotel in, I think it's Dolphin, there's Blackpool Sands Beach down there. Lovely little beach, it's got a little pontoon, comes out, you can swim into and dive off, pretty fun. It's also lifeguarding during the summer months. It's got a hotel that dates back centuries, and I want to say it's called the Castle Dolphin. I think the Dolphin's the one at Beer, and it's 16th century quayside hotel. Really nice place. Been down there a couple of times. Prince Charles and Prince Andrew visited there, past visitors. It's award-winning hotel supposedly. It's rather nice. Brixham, the Coffin House, a little bit of folklore. Brixham's got various different little funny features. You can follow the Pilgrim's Trail from Brixham as well, which is quite interesting. And I think there is also some other bits. I think there's a various different ships. They're the Golden Hind I remember visiting as a child, which is right on the harbour. It's a good place to go crabbing, because when they bring the haul in, I think they throw the smaller ones back that don't make the size. Could be wrong, but yeah, you always see people crabbing down there when crabbing a few crabs down there. So a nipper. So we will be coming up now on Start Point, which is below us. And then this is Start Point, I'll show you on the map. Start Point just down here. And then we'll turn round into the estuary, into the King's Bridge estuary. King's Bridge up here, Salcombe's down here, there's Salcombe Bolt-head airfield. Now Salcombe is famous for its gin. Very nice gin, it's about £40, but also it's rather on the heavier side of the quality. It's famous for its ice cream. Its ice cream served in on Singapore Airlines. It's served in on New Zealand Airlines, both of which have flown on. And it's also served in the Dorchester Hotel in London. So if you're at the Dorchester Hotel, be sure to try the Salcombe ice cream. It's delicious. Yeah, and of course it's served in Salcombe as well. That would be a bit of an oxymoron if they didn't sell it in the actual place where it was. Outside air temperature is 14 degrees. We'll do a quick fuel check. Yeah, balanced, fairly balanced. So we'll leave things as they are. We'll leave it on the left tank. Just come out a little bit so you get a view. Yapping away, so forgive me if I forget procedure with calling out various different things. We are connected to the server. There isn't a lot of traffic. Most of the traffic will be IFR and it'll be high up in the airways. However, people do fly VFR around here for the same reason I am, so if I see traffic then I will make a point of doing it. There is no scheduled flights for St Mellion. I've got vatsim on my second screen so I can't see if anyone else books in there. Salcombe coming up on the right hand side, as I said, famous for its gin, famous for its ice cream. It's also famous because its lifeboat station is the busiest on this stretch of coastline. It serves a huge area. And they saved in the 1800s, not long after it was established, in the 1860s, it basically it saved a rowing boat called the William and Emma that capsized, and I think 15 of the crew drowned. So some were saved by the lifeboat crew. Today it operates a Tamar class lifeboat, essentially, which is an all-weather lifeboat, so it can go out in the weathers from including the name, and it can also reduce the throttle back to 55%. It can also operate upside down, essentially. If it capsizes, it will self-level, rewrites itself. As I said, the U-Force, or Force U, which was 66 war vessels which were stationed down in Salcombe and Dartmouth during the D-Day, prior to the D-Day landings in Utah and Normandy, etc. Salcombe Bolt-head's down there. Should be off our nose, we'll turn out very slightly. It's obviously a noise abatement or a noise sensitive zone because of the money that's contained within Salcombe. Salcombe is one of the top 3 most expensive places to live. It's the average house price is 7 times that of the UK average, so it's incredibly expensive to live there. You're talking, a million pound plus for a sort of 3 and 4 bedroom house. So it's obviously anything with a sea view down here is expensive. Not all of Devon and Cornwall is expensive. If it's more inland, it can actually be cheaper than in sort of Bristol, or certainly London sort of way. Okay, let's just do a quick. You can also let's try and get the There's a place called I think it's the Customs House. You can rent in Salcombe, which was established when it became sort of registered port in the 1800s, 1864, 1865-ish. Dartmouth's Custom House was established, and that's now for rent. It's a holiday premise. Golf Mike Alpha Victor Romeo, now 3 miles west of Bolt-head, routing direct Yumpton at 1,900. So yeah, you can rent that as a little holiday cottage. You've got Kingsbridge up there. The River Dart, which is over at Dartmouth, which is the next one over, I must mention it's a good place. You can swim in the River Dart. It's a great place for open water swimming. Further up, there's a place called Dartington Hall. I swim up there in the summer. It's about waist height most of the way across. And you've also got Heritage Railway, which runs along there as well, which is a great day out, a great family day out. Can't remember for the life of me what it's called, but it's yeah. If you look for the Heritage Railway in Dartington sort of direction, you'll come across it. It's relatively well priced as well. They operate a non-profit organisation. So now routing direct Yumpton. I'm just having a look at the charts, make sure we're avoiding the danger areas for military flying, areas of intense aerial activity, AAIPs. So we're routing out over Yumpton, which will take us over the city of Plymouth. Interestingly enough, the Union Street where I was talking about earlier on is just famous because it's famous for fights, clubs, prostitution, drugs, and various other activities. The little crabs joke I made earlier on. But Plymouth has got, again, a rich naval history. It's home to, obviously, Devon Port. It's home to HMS Raleigh, which is the junior ranks training centre. Jacker's Bakery on the Barbican. It's reputed as the oldest commercial bakery in the world that's still in operation. Obviously, Plymouth, again, like Salcombe, is famous for its gin. On the oldest working distillery, which is in the Blackfriars district, on the Barbican, and that's been operating since the late 1700s, 1790 odd. Don't quote me. Just going from memory and what I've read to back up the limited knowledge I have of my local area. Okay, let's get the trimmed out. You've obviously got the tower, Smeaton's Tower, the swimming pool, which is Art Deco, down on the sort of Plymouth Hoe. The open air Lido. Captain Cook supposedly left Plymouth in the 1700s, 1768 on his first voyage, and a young Charles Darwin supposedly left on the Beagle, his craft vessel of choice in the 1830s. And Napoleon was frequented Plymouth, sailed on his ship Bellerophon. So it's certainly the place to be at night now, and obviously it's got the university there and a huge amount of economy down that way. The Eddystone Lighthouse, which is the one on Plymouth Hoe, which is the red and white lighthouse, was first built supposedly out of wood. I think it was out of wood in 1600s, late 1600s, could even be early 1700s, out of wood, and then it was re-erected on Plymouth Hoe in 1882. It's also now very popular as a tourist attraction. There's 4 of them in total, the Eddystone Lighthouses, and the 4th one is the one that's still in operation. Something the naval activity here is obviously huge. It's one of the largest naval activities in the Eurozone, in Europe, I should say, sorry, in the Euro. as well. Charles Darwin was known to have left the Plymouth Barbican, and his so again dating back even before the Royal Navy really became the force it is now. Many sailors and adventurers, explorers left Plymouth. Charles Darwin left on the Beagle, I believe it was called Beagle. There was something else as well that I remember reading. There's a sign, I think it is, down in the harbour in Salcombe, which is also where we just come from. They've got their own dolphin, Danny the dolphin. He's got his own Facebook page. It's the same family of dolphins that visits every year. And I think Plymouth had something similar with I want to say it was a tortoise or a turtle, a loghead turtle. Just quickly have a check if, yeah, we're well away from the restricted airspace. Just want to check the restricted airspace is over there. However, we are off course because we should have flown over the Plymouth airfield a little while back. But yeah, I think they had a loggerhead turtle, which is now in Plymouth Aquarium, which they rescued. Of course, they live forever, don't they? Well, not forever. They live a very enjoyable time. Quick zip aside, wet the throat. Right, now the Plymouth airfield should be over here somewhere. Right hand side. Should be coming up down. There it is. There's the runway. Now Plymouth Airport operated from the 20s, 1924. Right the way through to about 2011 when it closed, and it had, I think it was Southwest Air, Air Southwest, which is a regional airline, and they flew up to Gatwick and places like that, and they left and they moved up north. I think it was to either East Midlands or Newcastle, and they couldn't find another operator basically to take on the route, so it closed. Closed for public use, turn left now, closed for public use and was essentially mothballed. And then it came back to public attention. Sutton Harbour Holdings, who own it, they were trying to find operators. They were trying to find operators for it for a while. But it came to public attention and local general aviation's community attention. There's the Tamar Bridge down there, which officially signifies we are crossing into the deepest, darkest Cornwall. Yeah, so essentially we were, the general aviation community was up in arms because in August 2015 a pilot by the name of Martin, I can't remember his name, Martin something or other, flew a Jodel D120, which is a 50s monoplane, into the airport, and he was forced to land there because of bad weather. And they basically, Sutton Harbour Holdings surrounded his plane with concrete blocks so he could take off, and said, "You're not taking off, the runway's not fit for you to use," essentially. So they cited safety concerns, and they blocked him in, and there was a Facebook page, there was a fundraiser, Free the Jodel, and everyone was up in arms about it. They were all fuming. And then 3 weeks later, they eventually, probably due to the attention it was drawing, freed the aircraft, and Martin, the pilot, took off in front of a crowd of people clapping and bumps crying, that kind of thing. And that was the end of it. But Sutton Harbour Holdings, SHH, they backed their decision even after controversy. Even though they were involved in, I think they tried to charge him as well to be released or something like that, which they were involved in the Strasser scheme, which is developed by Charles Strasser, and the Strasser scheme basically says if you're forced to land at an airport due to emergency, then you won't be charged, and the airports that sign up to the Strasser scheme live by those values, so you only pay for engineering costs or So they got him out, and then part of it was sold off to a development and runway road, which now runs around the sort of down here. It runs around the sort of eastern edge of the airfield, and I think it's Radar Close is another one of the names. So Apron Avenue and stuff like that. So they're all like aviation themed, which is quite cool. Imagine living on Radar Close. Pretty cool. So coming up now, we're pretty much on track for St Mellion. We are going to turn right to track 340 for 2 minutes, and that, we should have travelled 5 miles by that point, and that will bring us downwind runway 33, which the winds are still favouring. So hopefully we'll be able to land the aircraft and not crash its burn to a billion pieces. And then we come over to Cornwall, which has again got lots of folklore, Bodmin Moors, which are over here. Bodmin Moors got various different over there as well. Folklore, the Beast of Bodmin, which is supposedly this Black Panther type cat, which frequents. We're going to start descending now to 1,000 feet. There's the windmill on the right hand side, and hopefully we're going to see some solar fields ahead. We might not even need to enter the downwind. Is that the solar field there? Okie dokie, right, we've found St Mellion, we've found the approach onto 3-3, got perfect pretty much headwind, and we're landing uphill, so we don't really need to panic about our speed too much, or using up too much of the runway. We're just going to drop her down nice and gently. I don't know what that was, I need to get a landing rate monitor. I reckon that was 100 feet a minute easy. It's not hard to do in this aircraft, let's be honest. And we are pretty much bang on. That will do nicely with a little bit of brakes at the end there. Now we get that lights off. Avoid the tree, we don't want to do any damage, we certainly don't want any smashing up our wings. Right. Didn't get clap eyes on the airport straight away, on the airfield straight away, so I had to orbit a couple of times, orbit once or twice, just to get eyes on it and make sure I had the right fix. But we're down, and we'll get the engine off. Track IR going a bit funny there. Drop the mixture out, and we will go ahead and turn off the fuel. Batteries and alternators can come off, and that is us at St Mellion. Welcome to St Mellion in Cornwall. Sun's just going down, a little bit of cloud in the sky, no traffic conflictions, so we're all happy. As ever, folks, please subscribe if you want to see more of the videos. If not, then don't worry. If you thought it was good, put a thumbs up. If there's any learning points, leave a comment. And if you thought I was crap, then please do leave a thumbs down. Hopefully you enjoyed me waffling on about some of the South Coast history, and we'll be continuing on in the next episode, hopefully down to Land's End, so taking off from St Mellion and departing it in the relevant direction. Cold Roses down here, so if there's some controllers on, we'll ask them to enter. If not, we'll just post in VATSIM, and then we'll fly on down and either land at Land's End, or we might start coming back up and land at Perranporth or Newquay. I've got some Perranporth scenery which I bought for £6 or something like that. I'll leave some links in the description for where the freeware is. Till next time, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which leaves your scopes open. Drink plenty of cider, water, and enjoy. Take care. Bye bye.